Well, we have ourselves a Toyota. I don't do too many Toyotas, but this one's got a little bit of a different issue, but also kind of the same. Let's see what it does. We take this and crank it, and see it's running. Everything's lit up, working, no real lights or anything like that. But let's take and turn it off. Yeah, we've seen something similar to this already. Let's get into it. So most of you already seen the Silverado, that when you cut the key on and then back off, it would crank and run for just a second. Well, this truck, when we crank it and turn the key off, it stays running. And it varies, sometimes 3 minutes, sometimes 4 minutes, sometimes a little longer, but sure enough, eventually it will turn off. And it's kind of annoying. So let's see if we can figure this out. We already kind of know from previous experience, something has got to be keeping the ignition relay active. Kind of similar how the Chevy truck would crank because the ignition circuit would stay powered after the accessory circuit turned off. That would make that BCM go, hey, well, let's crank the car. This truck, I've already kind of torn into it a little bit, looking for some aftermarket stuff. I have found so far no aftermarket stuff, but I have found several dealer add-on things. Some of it I don't even know what it is, some of it I do. So let's see what I've found so far and what it's not. So first off, I found this harness here that was ran and tapped in right here and then grounded here. Also down here you see this blue and green wire. Now I know what these circuits are, and I know they are dealer add-ons, and they are not the issue. This harness here, I traced this harness all the way to the bed of the truck. So if we go back here to the bed of the truck, we have this bed light right here and right there. That is what that harness goes to. The other harness goes right here into the tailgate and goes to a power door lock. Neither of those is causing their issue. Another thing that I found that I still don't know what it is this. There is a harness where this plugged into the ignition switch. They've unplugged it, plugged it into this harness that they've zip tied down through here. And let me see if I can get under here and show you guys. It goes up behind the air conditioner, this harness right here. And I did follow it all the way over to above the glove box over here. I do not know what that is right now, and frankly I don't care, because it's not my problem. How do I know it's not my problem? Let me show you. I'm gonna do my best for you guys to see what I'm doing here. I've just got a voltmeter here. I was grounding it to some metal over here, and I I've done enough research to know already that my issue is on this black wire right here. I know you guys probably ain't able to see that because I've got you in wide angle mode, but you can see on the voltmeter down there 13 volts, and this key tag's gonna keep flapping and throwing my focus off. This right here goes to my ignition circuit, or my ignition relay out under the hood that controls injectors. It sends ignition to the cluster up here, and then one other thing I can't remember. You guys will be seeing a screenshot over here on the side of this circuit what it goes to, but it only feeds, from what I can see, that one relay. Now if I take and turn the key off, take it out, you see we still got 10 volts. You can see it slowly dropping, very similar to the capacitance discharge that we've seen in the Silverado, except much slower. Now, as you can see, this thing keeps dropping, and we are still running. See the RPMs, cluster still on. And this circuit, if I take a test lot and just pin in here, and this is going to be really hard to do one-handed. Let me try to get this in here. Alright, so you guys can see it's down to 9 volts, but if I take just a test lot, and it doesn't even take much of one, we're just going to use the 1/2 amp filament here and just kind of pin that in there. You see where voltage dropped to 0, take it back out, and the engine and everything is off like it should be. Now, how do I know whatever this harness is going to isn't the issue? Well, because I can unplug that and my voltage stays on the factory harness side, the side that goes from here to the truck like it's supposed to be. Let me crank it back up and I'll show you. Alright, so we're gonna crank it. Let's see, we got charging voltage down there. I'm gonna take my light out of here so you guys can see that. If I turn the key off, we're still running. And if I very carefully, I'm trying to not move my meter too much, but this is the add-on side. This is the factory harness side. We still got 10 volts down here. So whatever this goes to is not my issue. I've got to trace this from here out under the hood to the underhood fuse box where it controls the relay. Sometimes you just gotta hope you get lucky, and I think I actually got lucky on this one. I was following this wiring diagram looking for this connector AJ10, because what's one of the things that can cause stray voltage to stay on a circuit after it's been cut off? Well, if you've watched the channel long enough, you know it's corrosion or water. Things like that can conduct voltage across pins, basically. And it doesn't take a whole lot of current to keep a relay energized. I've seen relays stay energized with like little voltage, like even down to like 4 and 5 volts will be enough to hold the relay. Like once it's turned on and locked or latched, when you turn it off, it doesn't take a whole lot of current or voltage to keep that thing connected. And I think that's the case with this one, because I dug around and I found out where this AJ10 connector is, and it is down here, and Let me kind of get you guys where you can see in here, hopefully. This is the connector. And if I zoom you in here, I know that's probably real grainy, but do you guys see that corrosion right here? Yeah, I think I've gotten extremely lucky. That, I'm hoping, is the cause of this voltage. So let's see what's in this thing. I'm going to take and turn the key off. And the truck actually died this time. Probably because I touched this thing with my finger. But let's see what's hiding in here. Oh yeah. There we go. That's probably going to do it. Let's get this thing cleaned up as best we can and see if our issue goes away. A little bit of toothbrush action, some electronics parts cleaner, and spray it with a little deoxit. Let's see what happens here. We've got the truck running, still pinned in here to my black wire here, and if we turn this off, there we go. I'm going to call that a fix. I don't know how that got water in it or corrosion in it. All these other plugs look completely fine. So I'm not real sure what's going on there. There's no real signs of this thing having like a leaking windshield or anything like that. But I'll let the customer know what I've found, and they can go over this thing a little better than I can about finding a water leak and stuff like that if there is one. But chances are they're just gonna ship this thing off the auction probably. So I think that's it for this one. Something real important, something I usually don't do. I don't go off on wild goose chases with aftermarket wiring and stuff like that. This is one of those times where it's best to just know the system, know how it's supposed to function, follow it. Don't go off on a tangent of these other aftermarket wires. Prove that those are what the fault is, or in this case, prove that they're not what the fault is. I wasted probably an hour chasing all these other wires around, seeing where they go, what they're connected to, and really they're all like dealer installed options. I still don't know what that is above the glove box, but I would imagine maybe a factory add-on remote start, but this thing doesn't have a key fob with it, but I bet there probably was one at one time. So I don't know. Follow your diagrams, follow the facts. The facts of this one was we had voltage on the wire. We could unplug the aftermarket harness and prove the fault was still in our factory harness, which ended up being corrosion in a plug. So that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you guys later.